my bold move against Dad's blind eye to stepmom's toxic reign. You know, family reunions are like a ticking time bomb of passive-aggressive commentaries, awkward silences, and emotional hostage situations. And I'm about to take you back in time to the one that made me wonder if I should have just kept my distance from my family altogether. I'm talking about the time I found out my dad was seeing someone while I was still trying to navigate the complexities of high school. Yeah, I know, it sounds like the perfect recipe for a teenage meltdown. But what really got my goat was his new partner's affinity for being overly chippy and passive-aggressive. I mean, who needs a healthy dose of sarcasm when you can have an undiagnosed case of rage issues? Yeah, I'm not joking when I say I've seen that special brand of crazy, and it wasn't exactly pleasant. I'm pretty sure the phrase restraining orders started being mentioned in relation to my family around that time. You might be thinking, dude, why are you bringing this up now? Well, it all comes down to the fact that after years of radio silence, my dad and I finally started rebuilding our relationship. And if that wasn't already complicated enough, his partner came swinging back into the picture like Romeo at the Capulets ball. Yeah, it's about to get real up in here. Introduction. Let me tell you about the time I finally stood up to my dad about his partner, my lovely stepmother, who honestly makes Disney villains look like amateurs. And yes, this all came to a head when she decided my kid would make a great target for her next episode of How to Lose Your Family in 10 Minutes. Hey everyone. Awkward wave. You know those family stories that start with, so picture this, and somehow always descend into chaos? Yeah, I've got a good one for you. I'm living my best life, planning my wedding, when Hurricane Stepmom decides she needs to be the director, producer, and star of my special day. We're talking full-on bridezilla. Except, she wasn't even the bride. I mean, this woman had a PhD in manipulation. It's like she'd stolen the game manual from The Art of War and tossed in a dash of manipulation magic. She'd been perfecting her craft since she married my dad when I was in high school. Everything had to be her way, from what we ate at family dinners, her famous 7-course spaghetti quinoa fish stick platter, to how I should style my hair, a look she'd aptly named the mullet for incompetent teenagers. And let's not forget about the countless hours spent watching Marriage Story while simultaneously asking, why did you marry this guy again? It's like she was trying to write the sequel, marriage binge watching with a side of denial issues. Everything was a crisis, and she was always there to rescue the day with her irresistible charm, read, strong-arming tactics. Just trying to help, she'd say, with that smile that never quite reached her eyes. You know, like that teacher in grade school who'd praise you while simultaneously deducting points for grammar. I was starting to think it was part of her family legacy, being the in-house helicopter parent, but really just being a chippy, non-helpful know-it-all. If you were wondering how a seemingly normal dad married a human version of a Disney villain, well, let's just say, my dad's got a type. You know, someone who looks perfectly innocent at first glance, then turns out to have a hidden talent for manipulation. Sort of like that relative in your family who secretly loves to ruin Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure she made an appearance in some random Big Brother audition years ago, only to be laughed out of the room for thinking she was the perfect game player. Let me tell you, she's got the intensity of Joan Rivers without the intelligence of Meryl Streep's witty comebacks. Still, I love my dad, even if he has questionable taste in women. And I majorly, became an expert in identifying manipulation tactics. In fact, I wrote a self-help book called Surviving Hurricane Stepmom, 10 fun-filled techniques to stop playing Spot the Puppet Master at family gatherings. Needless to say, it's a bestseller in the neighborhood garage sales circuit. I still get a sick feeling in my stomach when I think about that fateful family gathering. It was supposed to be a joyous occasion, a time for laughter and making memories with loved ones. But let's be real, you can't always get what you want, especially when there are entitled people breathing oxygen in the room. My precious little one was in her element, playing with her favorite toys and getting thoroughly entertained. I mean, who doesn't love a good Lego building session, right? But stepmom wasn't having it. She strode into the room, her superior standards blazing across her face like a neon sign. And let me tell you, It was a spectacle to behold. She sauntered over to my child and proclaimed, in a tone that made my blood run cold, "You're being too loud." I kid you not. Like, who gets reprimanded for being too loud at a play date? It's like being told to stop breathing too deeply. Newsflash, kids make noise, and sometimes they even make beautiful music with their toy instruments. But stepmom wasn't here to break out into an impromptu karaoke session. At least I hope not. She was here to squelch my child's creativity and ruin the fun. And what better way to do that than by physically restraining her? I mean, it's not like she was struggling to carry a tray of cookies or anything. No, this was a full-on arm grab situation, complete with a stern warning to keep it down. The look on my child's face was priceless, a mix of shock, fear, and utter confusion. And then, just when I thought things couldn't get any more bizarre, my partner and I saw red. We're talking mama bear mode, where all logic and reason fly out the window, replaced by a primal urge to protect our little one at all costs. Mama and Papa Bear were officially activated, ready to defend our cub against all comers. Little did we know that our response would set off a chain of events that would change everything. Oh, the sweet taste of freedom. Or should I say, the bitter taste of anger and resentment. After that drama-filled family gathering, the aftermath was like a never-ending parade of ridiculous excuses and justifications. My stepmom was in full-blown victim mode, playing the poor, misunderstood soul who'd been brutally attacked by the sensitive me. I mean, come on, lady, I'm like a vampire. I sparkle, I shine, and I only bite when provoked by passive-aggressive comments from my own family. According to her, her physical restraint of my child was simply a necessary evil to maintain order in a chaotic environment. I swear she must have been a sociologist or something, studying the art of social control. I mean, it's like she took a page out of 1984 and replaced Big Brother with Stepmother. The child must be taught to conform, she'd say, with a wink and a sinister smile. Meanwhile, I'd be chasing after her in the background, hyperventilating and waving a tiny flag that read, "Child abuse is a real thing, stepmom." My dad, bless his oblivious soul, was still trying to navigate the complex web of relationships within our family. He'd send me those "can we all just get along" texts, completely unaware of the ridiculousness he was perpetuating. It's like he thought we were all playing some kind of bizarre, interconnected game of Twister where each move would magically fix everything. Nope, Dad, that's not how it works. Sometimes you gotta call out the elephant in the room, even if that elephant has a PhD in drama and theater arts. But the best part? My stepmom's defense mechanism of choice. The classic, "I was just trying to help." Ah, yes, the universal language of passive-aggressive insults and manipulation. I'm pretty sure she must have studied under the great masters of gaslighting, Irv Wilhelm and Tom Shane. I mean, only the most skilled manipulators can convince you that your own subjective experience is actually a reflection of your own fragility. In the end, we decided to cut ties with the toxic trio and start fresh. It was like escaping a poisonous puzzle where every piece you added made you feel like you were losing your grip on reality. My dad got to keep his stepmom, but I'd be damned if I'd play along anymore. After all, I'd become the star of my own reality TV show. And in the ultimate plot twist, I'm the bravest, most determined hero in the cast. Who knew that confronting my dad about his partner's manipulative ways after years of silence would become a runaway hit on Netflix? As I reflect on my family dynamics, I'm reminded of a reality TV show where the plot twists are just as relentless as the dysfunctional relationships. Growing up, I thought I had dealt with the toxic family members, but they're like those trick birthday candles. The flames die down, only to ignite again, leaving you wondering if you've already gone mad. My dad, always the peacemaker, would send those "can't we all just get along" texts, trying to tie everything together with a neat little bow. Newsflash, Dad, it's not that simple. You can't just slap a label on toxic behavior and expect everyone to dance in harmony. It's like expecting a dog to sit on command when it's been fed a diet of spoiled treats his whole life. Meanwhile, my stepbrother, the ultimate poster child for plot twists, emerged as the unexpected MVP in this story. Who would have thought? Not me. We'd had our share of rocky moments, but his ability to roll with it, literally one time, I'm pretty sure, proved that even in the most delicate family dishes, some folks can bring a healthy dose of humor and a dash of wit. It turns out my stepbrother had been secretly observing our dysfunctional family dynamics, taking mental notes, and contemplating the perfect moment to intervene. Ah, humor as therapy, the unsung hero of family gatherings. Who needs counseling when there's a witty remark or a well-timed joke to break the tension? Oh, let's rewind to the wedding drama, shall we? It's like I'm flicking through a photo album, only instead of happy memories, I'm reliving the nightmares that my stepmom's Pinterest board turned my wedding into. I mean, who doesn't love a good wedding planning story, am I right? So it all started with the venue. I'd been casually browsing for a dream location for months, and I'd finally settled on a beautiful vineyard with a stunning view of the rolling hills. I mean, it was like the sun, the wine, and the love all in one perfect package. My fiancé, now husband, had even given me his seal of approval, the ultimate test of a wedding venue. But then, out of the blue, my stepmom swoops in like a bird of prey, swooning over her own little Pinterest board paradise and declaring, "I found a better venue." Yeah, because I knew exactly what I was looking for, an abandoned warehouse with a hint of industrial chic. I mean, who needs a romantic vineyard view when you can have a maze of rusty pipes and broken dreams, right? And let's not even get started on the perks. She was like, oh, it's got a vintage vibe, and the exposed brick will add a touch of class. Class? You want to talk about class? I've got a class act of a cousin who's actually a professional clown. And he's never showed up late to a family gathering, unlike some people. Cough, stepmom, cough. But I digress. So we're all set for the abandoned warehouse wedding, right? I mean, who needs a luxurious hotel or a picturesque garden when you can have a building that's been abandoned since the 90s, complete with a hint of mystery and a side of asbestos? Now, I know what you're thinking. What about the guests? How are they going to get there? And what about the whole logistics nightmare? Don't worry, that's where my stepmom's master plan comes in. She's all like, don't worry, I've got this covered. We'll just get a party bus to take everyone to the venue. It'll be Pinterest perfect. Because nothing says trendy wedding like piling 200 of your closest friends into a hot, cramped bus, only to have them spill coffee and drop their phone cases all over the lobby. But wait, there's more. My stepmom wouldn't stop there. She's got this grand vision of a signature cocktail that will make everyone forget about the sweat, the tears, and the general chaos of the whole experience. I mean, who needs a perfectly crafted wedding program or a beautiful wedding cake when you can have a bottle of peanut-flavored vodka and call it a day? And that's when I lost it. Literally, I must have blacked out for about 10 minutes, because when I came to, my fiancé was trying to explain to me that the party bus was in fact a school bus on steroids, and that the signature cocktail was actually just a Kool-Aid mix with a few extra drops of food coloring. But hey, at least the wedding planning process was fun, right? Now, let's discuss the baby shower incident. I still can't believe I fell for it. I mean, I'm no expert, but I thought baby showers were about celebrating the upcoming arrival of a tiny human surrounded by loved ones with delicious food and games galore. But no, my stepmom had other plans. It all started when I announced that I was planning a baby shower for my little bundle of joy. I'd chosen a theme that I thought was perfect, cute baby animals. I mean, who doesn't love owls, puppies, and kittens? It's like a party waiting to happen. But little did I know, my stepmom had been quietly planning her own rival baby shower. And not just any baby shower, but a Victorian-era pregnancy fashion extravaganza. I mean, I'd seen Gothic-themed weddings and pirate-themed birthday parties, but a Victorian-themed baby shower? That's taking it to a whole new level. Apparently, my cute baby animal theme wasn't sophisticated enough for her tastes. I guess I should have known better. After all, she did used to attend those posh wannabe salons where they sold $50 a pop wine glasses and offered relationship coaching for $75 an hour. Anyway, she invited all our friends and family to her fancy-schmancy baby shower, complete with an RSVP list that looked like a taxidermy guide to invasive European plant species. I, on the other hand, had to contend with an invite list that read like a Klondike Gold Rush manifest. Anyone with a pulse was welcome to join. But here's the kicker. my stepmom decided to make things even more interesting by creating a baby shower queen crown out of copper pipes, velvet ribbon, and antique brooches. Yeah, it was like something you'd find in a museum of weird artifacts, but hey, at least it was conversation starting, right? When the big day arrived, I was a bit apprehensive, but determined to make the most of it. After all, it's not every day you get to celebrate the upcoming arrival of a tiny human with a theme that says, "Let's dress up as outcast English aristocrats in childbirth and forget about the fun stuff." I mean, who wouldn't want that kind of special occasion sanity in their lives? But what happened next is what really gets me. My stepmom decided to upstage me by wearing a custom-made baby bump gown with a corset that looked like it belonged on a Southern Gothic romance heroine on a hot summer night. And to top it off, she brought a Victorian-era lunch basket that looked like it belonged in a Tim Burton film set. Needless to say, the entire thing was like a car crash that you can't look away from. People were awkwardly trying not to stare while I was just standing there with a $10 frozen pizza and a bottled sweet lemonade, like a reject from a 1950s prom. Despite all this, I did manage to have a good time, not with the baby shower itself, but with thinking up a better theme for next year. Maybe something like zombie apocalypse baby blessings, or cute alien invasion, or futuristic robot babies take over the world. That one might just have a shot at beating out my stepmom's ridiculous Victorian-themed baby shower. I'll never forget the day I finally took the leap and went through the process of getting a restraining order against my dad's new partner. I had been putting it off for what felt like an eternity, but the final straw was when she sent me a condescending text message during my grandmother's funeral, telling me what I should be grateful for. Looking back, I realized I had been playing a twisted game of emotional chess with her for years. We played a delicate dance of words, always trying to outmaneuver each other, but never really willing to engage in an honest, full-blown confrontation. When I mentioned getting the restraining order, friends asked me what gave me the courage to do it. And my response was, honestly, the thought of having to draw up a list of all the times she'd manipulated, belittled, or ignored me was more exhausting than facing the emotional fallout. I began gathering documents, old emails, text messages, hurtful comments from conversations I'd recorded. I know, not something to be proud of, but it was like building a case against some Machiavellian politician. There had to be a bottom line, a moment when even the most seemingly benevolent actions turned out to be backhanded compliments. After what felt like an agonizing process, I sat nervously in the courtroom, clicking my pens, worried that someone would mistake me for the lawyer and consult with me on strategy. The lawyer was, after all, sharp, witty banter between husband and wife notwithstanding. Across from me was everyone I had ever wanted to be a game of chess with, just less politely. When my turn came, I stood before the judge, trying to convey in the most sanitized way how horrible she had made me feel. However, this was one of many scenarios I'd find myself in for many years to come. As a person who tends to agonize over almost everything, nothing illustrates the way you need permission to say, "Hey, these are not things I should be doing. Who gave you permission to break my dreams?" Getting that restraining order felt like finally winning a game of emotional chess I never wanted to play. The judge took one look at the evidence and was like, "Yeah, that's going to be a no from me, dog," to her behavior. Okay, maybe not those exact words, but you get the idea. To my surprise, I walked out of the courtroom that day with a strange feeling of calm liberation. Not so much relief as a resolute sense we were over, done. Was it better than the emotional quagmire we were stuck in previously? Yes, about 1,000,000 times better. It's weird that the feeling had crept up on me. Still weird that that's exactly how I describe it. 1,000,000 degrees of better. At the same time, once the weight of this moment has settled, it doesn't feel like I've escaped the complex issue of this all. Where do things currently stand? Where do I even begin? It's like we've gone from living in a war zone to enjoying a serene picnic in the park. Okay, maybe it's a bit of an exaggeration, but trust me, it's a drastic improvement. So, what's the latest scoop? Well, my stepbrother and I are practically BFFs now. I mean, who knew that having a shared experience of being raised by a master manipulator would create such a strong bond. We have therapy sessions where we swap stories about our childhood, trying to outdo each other with tales of our stepmom's crazy antics. It's become a game, and I'm pretty sure we're both competing for the title of most abused by queen manipulation. My dad, well, he's still married to her. But that's the end of the world, right? I mean, he's happy, and that's all that matters. Though, at times, I do find myself wondering if he's been brainwashed or something. They're like two peas in a pod now, and it's not even funny anymore. I've taken to calling him Dad the Enabler, just to keep things light. The real challenge, though, has been figuring out how to navigate family gatherings without losing my mind. It's like, how do you socialize with someone who's actively trying to destroy your relationships and sanity? You know, it's like trying to participate in a role-playing game where all the other players are against you. Still, I'm determined to keep a level head, even if my dad's choice has become a little too real for my liking. On the bright side, we've started a new tradition, calling each other survivors of Hurricane Stepmom at the beginning of every reunion. It's become a funny reminder that we've all been through the same thing and that we're not alone in our crazy family drama. We even started a small support group where we swap tips on how to handle manipulative family members and laugh about our latest victories. It's strange, but sometimes I think our stepmom's antics have been the best thing that's happened to us. I mean, who else would make us realize that we're stronger than we think? That we can laugh together despite all the craziness? It's like we've become an online support group, minus the online part. Because, you know, family gatherings are about as digital-free as can be. So that's the latest from our crazy family. We're still standing, and sometimes we even manage to laugh together. Okay, maybe that's a lie, but we're working on it. Look, I know some of you might be dealing with similar situations. Maybe you're thinking, but they're family. Here's the thing, family shouldn't hurt you or the people you love. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is draw that line in the sand and say, not anymore. If you enjoyed this story time, hit that like button. And if you have your own toxic family stories, drop them in the comments. Misery loves company, am I right? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that'll make your family drama look mild in comparison. Remember, folks, blood might be thicker than water, but so is toxic waste. And you don't want that in your life. Peace out.